Commission, I'm gonna jump off to go to this extrication.
Motor vehicle accident.
Okay,
Unknown extrication, unknown injuries, timeout in 1934 hours.
Chief, come back as soon as you can.
Actually, you know what? Tommy's going. I'll stay here.
Okay,
So I'm gonna jump off to go to this.
All right, you are all set, Mr. Chairman.
okay, I'm gonna be the chairman tonight, James. Bubba's driving south on the Jersey Turnpike, or he's in Delaware, I'm not sure where.
Yeah, he told me that. I told him to make sure he wasn't doing this while he was driving.
Well, he's not. Can we get this please stand by off?
All right,
Yeah,
there you go.
there we go.
Okay. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order, and first thing is Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Bubba, I hope you weren't standing up.
Not on 95, no, thank you.
Okay. We have attendance.
In 1 mile, keep left to line 95 south.
Okay. Okay, attendance is all set. Frank, have you reviewed the minutes from November 11th and January 13th?
Yes, I have, and I would like to make a motion that the meeting minutes from November the 11th and January 13th to be accepted.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. We don't need to do that because the three of us are all in favor, so that passed.
Aye.
Communications. Frank, you want to review those?
Sure, I have communications, monthly reports from Chief Trummer from November.
95 south.
And after reviewing the November his report, I gotta tell you, Chief, doing an outstanding job. I would like to have that accepted as read.
Okay,
And I also have Chief Traumer's reports from January the 19th as well.
Line 95.
And the rest of the reports, I have one more from Chief Traumer for January, I'm sorry. The other reports are from DJ Zorn Fire Marshal and Chief Stegmeyer.
I think that's all of it, right, Frank?
That is it.
Okay.
I make a motion, we accept communications.
And I'll second it, and all of us are in favor, so we'll move along.
Okay.
Old business, Chief, you want to give us an update on the radio system? Oh, wait a minute, we got to do ledger status. I forgot that. I've reviewed the ledger status. Have you looked at that too, Frank?
Yes, I have.
Looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Just so you know, we met as chiefs on Monday and going through the ledger status. We're actually starting to spend a bunch of money right now for items that are currently on the budget. So by next month, you'll see a change.
Okay. Thanks for that update, Chief.
Just answered one of my questions. Thank you, Chief.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We approve the ledger status as presented.
All right, I'll second.
And
Aye.
Bubba, are you in favor? Okay, we're all in
Yes,
favor.
sir.
So now we'll go on to old business. And Chief, would you give us a radio system update?
Sure. So last week, myself, Commissioner Stoddard met with the town manager and Paul Butak to go over the radio system. And actually, we had a very productive meeting, I believe. Actually, everything seems to be going in the right direction right now. We discussed our proposal that we had presented to the town manager, and the town manager is moving forward with our proposal with no cuts whatsoever on the fire department side. So I'm very happy about that. He asked us a bunch of questions. We answered a bunch of questions. And the agreement, that looks like what we came down to is that public safety will go on to the state system, and all the other town agencies will go on to a different system that will be new radios, new system, new everything. They're working on details on that with Marcus Communications, I believe. And hopefully, if everything goes right, it will be part of the budget process coming up in the next couple months. And we will be moving forward with that. So I'm very happy to have the meeting, and it was a very productive meeting. Don't you agree, Commish?
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. That was well said. We really did make some headway in that we made the decision to split this, and public safety is going to go on the state system, and that and everything else, highway, Board of Ed, and who else? Whatever. Parks and Rec, right.
Yep.
We're gonna go on to a separate system that'll be developed, so. We're making good progress on the radio system. I think that once we get this approved in this budget, we'll be able to go forward with it, and hopefully we can get a grant. And Chief, did you find out about the grant, whether?
Yeah, so right now our grant writer reached out to the FEMA representatives. So it's kind of a yay and a no at the same time. So the answer is they will not, we cannot start a process and get money after the fact. What has to happen is before anything happens, we have to write a letter to FEMA requesting why we want to start the process ahead of the funding. So she's reaching out actually to a FEMA officer and finding out exactly what is needed to get that process done. And she was going to reach out as of today. I talked to her, and she's reaching out to try to find exact language that we need to put in there. So it's not 100% no, but it's not 100% yes. So it's kind of like in between, unfortunately.
Sounds like government.
Yeah. So we'll work with it. She said that she'll reach out to FEMA and see exactly what the wording we need. And as long as we can get that in before we sign any paperwork, then we'll be okay.
Okay. It sounds like we're going in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Comment, Commissioner.
Yeah.
I just like to say, Jeff, kudos to you. Been a commissioner for a little over 2 years now, and we started this 2 years ago. And thank you for all your hard work. Really, you and your staff, Nico, everybody that helped out. It's nice to see that this thing is finally coming to some kind of system and us going forward. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Chief, I have a couple of quick questions. Number one, could you tell me if this is correct or not? The last time we talked about the radio system, the biggest reason why we wanted to do it through the state is because they cover like the general maintenance of the towers and the communication system because it's public safety, or am I not correct?
So the way the state system works is the reason we want to go to the state system, number one, is for the coverage. So if we go out of area, we don't have to worry about, getting too far away from town and the system not working. That's number one. Number two, everybody pays a fee in the E911 through your telephone bill, and it's to actually fund that radio communication system that the state has. So that's another reason. The other part of it is, yes, the state of Connecticut maintains all the towers in town. They do upgrades on a regular basis, and it's a state-of-the-art system. Basically, it's monitored. They know when an alarm comes in. If something was to fail, it fails off to another site. Where like the current system we have right now, if it was to fail, we're kind of in a tough spot because the system would crash. With the state system, it basically falls to a different site and it will go right back online. If you may not even notice that it actually dropped off.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Okay. That's number one. Number two, talking about the grant writer reaching out to FEMA. And you mentioned that this is through Marcus Communications.
No. So the grant writer that we have is somebody that the town hired to do grant writing for the town of Newington. Her name is Sonia. She's fantastic. We've worked with her on 3 grants that we currently are working on with her. Yeah. And this grant is actually through the federal government. It's through the AFG grant, which is the Affordable Firefighters Grant, I believe it's called. But we had to submit that by January. So we put in for $1 million grant to try to offset the cost of the radio system. And that is a FEMA sponsored grant. So that Marcus Communications has zero to do with that. It would actually just fund our radios, our mobiles, and any devices that we need as part of the system.
Right, I understand that, but Marcus Communication is who we would be getting this equipment from, correct?
Negative, no. We would actually be purchasing the equipment directly through Motorola if that's the manufacturer we're going with.
Okay.
If we stay with the state system, we deal directly with Motorola themselves. And a company called Norcom. So Norcom is a company that basically the state has as a vendor that they deal with directly. So that's actually who would most likely be getting all the equipment for us.
Well, the reason why I'm asking that is between Motorola, Marcus Communications, Telcom. I'm going to assume, unless I'm totally wrong, that any one of these 3 companies have dealt with public safety communities and possibly helping those communities write grants, or they have a way of being able to work things into their grant. And I don't know if you guys have thought about reaching out to any of these individuals for help.
Yes, we've reached out to a company called Motorola Solutions, which is a company that does grant writing, and we reached out to them to find particulars on that. Yes, we did.
Okay.
And they helped us with wording. Sonia, our grant writer, actually reached out to a couple other towns that recently did radio grants also, and found wording that they use to help them. So yeah, we've done our research, and this is the second time we wrote this grant. The last time we did it ourselves. This time we actually have a professional helping us out. Gotcha. And they used a lot of our stuff, but she kind of tweaked it to make it a lot better for us this time around.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Thank you for those answering those items.
Absolutely.
Anything else on the radio system? If not, we'll move right along to the truck 2 update. And I guess we'll have to count on you for that, Chief. I think we lost car 5.
No, car 5's there.
Oh, is he?
I'll let Jack answer that.
Okay. I got the preliminary drawings in on Tuesday from Firematic, and I have a probably a whip list of about 10 items that have to be addressed right off the bat. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Captain Volvo and Tim Lapierre, the fire mechanic, and we're going to go through the list and hash out the questions that Pierce has for us and get the email back to or get the information back to Mike Chapman over the weekend. So Monday he should have all the answers and the questions we have from the list. I'll have into them, so I'll have some more answers next week. But it's a good sign that we have the drawing. The sooner I can get the questions answered, the quicker the truck will be on the assembly line. And I'll try to look next week. Maybe I'll touch base with Mike Chapman and I'll try to see if we're on schedule or how the schedule is running. He did state that due to supplies and materials, you know, everything is behind. Everybody with the whole COVID, the shipping, the metal, a lot of the stuff is very behind. So it's a good sign. He told me that we would have this drawing by the end of February, and it's only a weekend, so we got the drawing. So that's a good sign.
Good. Sounds good. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Moving right along. We did the deputy chief and assistant chief evaluations, all except for Jack, and we'll have to meet with Jack in the future. But they all went very well. We had good feedback. We had good interaction. And I think that it's something we have to do on a regular basis in the future. What do you think of the process, Frank?
I loved it. I thought that that's the way that this is the way the process should work, and it should probably be done on a yearly basis, if not every 2 years, depending on the terms of service for the deputy chiefs and the assistant chief. But I was very impressed. I liked the way that it all came down and worked out very well. And we'll just have to catch Jack at a better time.
Maybe when Bubba gets back.
Sounds good.
That'll work.
I also like to say kudos to all our chiefs. You guys are fabulous. The reviews that the chief handed us were pretty much spot on, and like it was just awesome to see the interaction that we had with them. And thank you for everything that all you guys do. And I don't know what else to say. You guys are great.
Yes, I think all of our chiefs and chief, assistant chief, and deputy chiefs work hard at their jobs. I think there's a lot to do, and I appreciate them all. Anything else, Frank?
Well, I'm good.
Okay, we'll move on to grant update.
So just so you're aware, as we were talking before, we have 3 grants that are currently out there. One is the firehouse sub grant that actually got awarded last month. So we are moving forward with that. We're hopefully going to get the equipment that was awarded to us sometime in March. We'll be able to go and purchase that. It's going to be roughly about 3 months before we get the equipment, but that will replace all of our extrication equipment on our rescue truck, and we'll take that equipment and move it over to Tech too. So that was $47,000 that we got as a grant awarded to us. We actually put in for the AFG grant for the radios for $1 million. And we also put in for a safer grant through FEMA also. And that's for recruitment and retention. That's for an electronic billboard in front of company ones that we can use for recruitment and retention and some of our not advertisements, but notices to put out to the public and so forth. So in total, between all of those, it's about $1.1 million worth of grants that we have sitting out there right now. And we're just trying our best as a department to try to save the town as much money as possible and try to bring in as much money as we can through these grants. So we're working hard, and any other grants that we see available, we're going to try to apply for. the grant writer that we have now, like I said, she does a fantastic job. We work well with her now, and I can't say enough about her help.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds
I-
good.
I really appreciate all that you're doing towards getting grants, because I do agree that we got to keep trying to help the town to keep the tax dollars down. Okay, Frank, have you got anything on grants?
No, other than the fact that between Assistant Chief Lapierre and knowing what he's been doing with Sonia and the chief, I think it's just incredibly outstanding, and I just hope that we get some great results from all of this hard work that you guys are all doing.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's move on to new business. First item on new business is discussion on a formal request to take down the old Company 3 firehouse on Chapman Street. And what our thinking is that we would like to then give that space, the green space, to the elderly housing complex that's there, and take over the green space that's behind Company 3 and possibly put up a Butler building or something for storage. Bubba, have you got any comments?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. The firehouse on Chapman Street, the old Company 3, it's past its day, and I do believe we need to have a better building, not only for us, but to store emergency management equipment for our trailer. And that firehouse is well past its prime. And I don't think the town should be putting any more money into it. And if we can swap green space for green space, I think we should do it.
I concur.
Okay, so
So
Go ahead.
Commissioner, the reason I wanted to bring this up tonight, and Jack can actually probably attest to it, because he had discussions with Joe Salamone. So Jack, if you want to talk about it, I'm fine with that. Go ahead.
Okay, well, here's the deal. I met with Joe on a couple occasions. We looked at Chapman Street Firehouse a few times, and he genuinely did look into the building and looked at its historical value and stuff like that. And, you know, pretty much the last thing he wanted to do was knock down an old building. But the problem is our properties with Company 3 and Chapman Street are separate. And in order for us to actually renovate the Chapman Street Firehouse, it would be cheaper to knock it down and build a new one. There's asbestos, there's damage, the building is very, very old, and it's just gone way too far. So it's definitely cheaper to take the building down. Now, my only issue with that is that it houses some of our fire equipment. And my concern is, you know, I don't really think it's our responsibility. Emergency management needs to handle their stuff and figure out a plan. But my concern is for the fire department is the utility trailer that we have in there, and we have the generator trailer and stuff like that. That's fine. We can knock it down, but we need to put that equipment somewhere. And we're already tight with space with all our firehouses. And with the times coming, I mean, we just get more and more equipment. The apparatus is getting bigger and bigger, and we need more tools to do our job. And basically, you know, the utility needs to be on that end of town. The utility was bought with a purpose for the busway. It was put in Chapman Street because we can't put it on the property at Company 3. There's no way. They would have to back that trailer in and down the alleyway at 3's. There's just not enough room. It's close. It was kind of like the best place to put it because Service 3 is close enough. It's still not ideal because the trailer is disconnected from the truck that it belongs on. So I mean, I am just looking at, I don't mind tearing the building down and I agree with it. I think it's financially the way to go, but there has to be a plan to house the equipment that's there. We can't just say we're gonna knock it down and let's worry about it later. There has to be a plan in place to put those items. Also met with Joe Solomon with the regards of, I guess that's the next thing, so I'll just let that go for now. But that's pretty much what I have to say about Chapter Street. It's fine to knock it down, but we have to have a plan moving forward. Whether they can transfer the property and however they want to do it, but we just can't just say, okay, knock it down and then let it slide. We have to stay on top of it.
Right, I agree with you, Jack. We have to, I think we need to make a formal request to the town manager to look at the green space and see if we can swap that green space if the old company 3 is knocked down. So I think that we need to put that together. Frank, is that something you can do as secretary, or do you want me to draft something and send it to you and you can tweak it?
Yeah, sure. Jack, one quick question. When you talk to Salomon, what did you guys talk about the size of the Butler building possibly?
Well, that did come up,
Okay,
and it did come up about a Butler building. And basically what he told me was, well, I could pretty much, organize to get this thing knocked down, but I wouldn't be able to simultaneously build another building. So you would have to figure out where you'd have to put your equipment in the meantime.
in the
And I
meantime,
said, well, that's not, an adequate answer to me.
right, okay,
I mean, it's kind of like, I kind of got the impression, let's knock it down and then we'll worry about everything later. And that's not the way I operate. It needs to happen simultaneously. And I don't know how it's going to work, but it needs that utility trailer and the fire department equipment in there needs to be housed in close proximity to company 3. It can't be let go. And what I'm afraid of is they're going to knock this building down and then say, yeah, okay, yep, all right, well, someday we'll get you a Butler building. Someday we'll do this.
yeah.
We need to move on this. We can't just let it sit. That's the thing.
Actually, just so we can talk about this Butler building, that's actually our plan B, to be honest with you. Our plan A is actually to expand to the right of where company 3 currently sits. The problem is that the property next to it is up for sale, and the person trying to sell it doesn't really want to work with us in the financial side. But our ultimate goal is to try to get that piece of property next to company 3's to the right of us first. And if that doesn't work, then let's go to the Butler building. But I'd rather see the expansion go through before the Butler building is even discussed. Because the expansion is going to benefit us better than the Butler building itself. So,
And in conjunction with that, we're not gonna, the old firehouse is a fire department building. We're not gonna let them knock it down until we're ready to do that.
correct.
Well, the other thing that goes along with that, I've seen it from time and time again. I've been with the town 26 years. They do one thing to satisfy another. And the thing is, the Butler building, like the chief said, is our second option. But it's not, they're going to throw a Butler building up and say, okay, well, there's your stuff. There's your storage area. Let's not forget, company 3, if you go to OSHA standards and you go to the standards of NFPA, there's not enough room in that firehouse for what we have to house.
Yeah.
And also with all the building that's going on at Fenn and Cedar, we're looking at a huge increase in response. So you have to look at the big picture. And a Butler building is a temporary solution to
Permanent problem.
The way I'm looking at it. Yeah. So we just got to be careful with that.
Yeah, we concur. We understand that, Jack, and we're not,
Absolutely.
yeah, we're The next item for discussion is to talk about, we really got to get a building committee formed for the expansion of Company 3 and Company 4. So,
Yeah, the reason I brought that up to the commission is I think we just need to formally send something to the town manager that says that we'd like to have a committee formed, just so we can get that on the agenda to move forward with that. Because unfortunately, there's no funding available until that committee is formed. So we just got to get that in the right direction.
actually, I think these are in the wrong order. I think we have to send a request to the town manager for expansion of Company 3 and Company 4. And then if we can't do something else with Company 3, then we'll consider Chapman Street and a Butler building.
Good point.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense, Ken.
Okay. You concur with that, Bubba?
Yes, yes, I do.
All right.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we send a request to the town manager asking for a building committee formed for the expansion of Company 3 and Company 4.
I will, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So,
Now, this could be a question for Mitch or Tim. Do either of you know where that standing building committee is in terms of, is that approved yet, or how's that working out?
Tim, why don't you take that?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yep.
yep,
Yeah, it will be on the agenda for our next meeting, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So this would fall under that, under the new committee, because I'm sure it would be approved fairly soon.
And that's why I asked if that was part of, if this could be part of that.
Yeah. Which the goal is to have all of our building committees under this new committee, just so there's so much involved with the building committees. You guys probably know, if you put me on the committee, I would have no idea what to do.
Right, right.
But the goal is to have one professional, semi-professional group of people who do this, and it would make things a lot easier and faster. And things don't slip between the cracks. You know, I wouldn't think of some of the things that maybe somebody in the industry would think of.
Gotcha. I appreciate it. Tim. Thank you.
No problem.
Perfect, thanks.
so really, Tim, our timing is right on for going forward with the standing building committee and our request.
Off the record or on the record? No, it'll make this thing happen sooner.
Okay,
So I think it's good timing, because this is something that we've been working on for a while now.
yeah, that's all I was asking about timing.
Yeah. No, I think this is great timing.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Anybody else got anything under new business? Oh,
Just one comment about the building discussions and stuff. I don't know if you're all aware, but I did meet with Joe Solomon at we went around to all the firehouses. And the big thing was, one of the discussions that kind of just got to me a little bit was, comparing us to East Hartford firehouses and stuff like that. Obviously East Hartford's a city and it's a lot different than Newington. It's not Newington. And we need to look at it as what Newington needs and what Newington has to have. And it's not about what we want. It's about what the studies show. It's about our response times. It's about the demographic of the area and, NFPA standards. It's also about the ISO ratings and stuff like that. So,
and OSHA standards too.
And OSHA standards. It's not just, hold on, something just came up. Oh, okay. So it's not about what needs what we want to happen. It's what needs to happen. So, as far as when the discussion comes up about Company 4, yes, the firehouse is needed. It has to be there. There's a reason why it's there. So it's not an option to close a firehouse or move a firehouse. We have to grow. the towns, you know, they want to build stuff, they want to add businesses. We need to look at all of that. So just so everybody's aware, and we need to, you know, Joe Solomon, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's got a lot on his plate right now, and he's playing catch up, trying to figure everything out. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the chief and I, when we met with the town manager on radios, we briefly talked about what could possibly happen. And when we formally make a request, we're going to look into the house that's directly east of Company 4 to see if there's a possibility we could get some property there, so we could expand that. Oh, welcome back, Tom.
Thank you.
So we'll make a formal request. We had that as a motion and that passed. Anything else under new business?
On that, Commissioner, I think we also have to keep in mind and bring up the fact that there are talks with Central Connecticut State University expanding across the street in the 291 property. That's still up for discussions, and we have to be prepared, you know, when we're looking at the expansions of 3s and 4s for that possibility.
You're right, Tom.
Okay.
If
I have one question that's either directed to Jack or the chief.
Go ahead.
My question would be is when was the last time the fire department was rated by ISO, and how often do they do the reports? Does anybody?
We just recently got our ISO updated. I believe that was 5 to 7 years ago, and it's usually about every 10 years.
Oh, it's that long. It's every 10?
Yep. And we just got upgraded. We were an ISO 4, and we got upgraded to an ISO 3. And 3 is the best a volunteer department can get nowadays.
Right.
We're like right up there, rated as one of the best volunteer departments around. So, yeah, we worked hard in getting that ranking. And that's a benefit to every business and homeowner in the town of Newington, because it lowers their insurance rate.
So let me ask this question. Because of all of the major building and projects that are taking place within the town of Newington, and if we're looking at expanding Company 3 and Company 4, would the possibility be in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years, that we might even have to add another firehouse in another part of Newington to supplement all of these major projects that are going on in terms of equipment?
I mean, there's a possibility. The way ISO ranks you is response to a geographical area and what your response time is and what you respond to it. So Newington, obviously, it's 13.7 square miles. So they take it and they put a circle around and how you respond as a department to each one of those. But there's more than just the response from us. There's hydrants. There's all kinds of stuff that go into the ISO rating. So there's quite a bit.
Hopefully, the new radio will help to maintain that.
The radios are a big piece in the
Absolutely.
writing positions and the radio needs. That's a big piece in ISO, along with the air packs and the type of equipment that we have. Like the chief said, responding to whatever call we're dispatched to. Our training, everything plays into it.
Right. So all of the items that we have presently discussed tonight basically are reflective of what the ISO rating is, so that we need to maintain what we have or go beyond what we presently have to keep pace with everything.
That is 100% correct. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to ask for public participation. Anybody got their hand up, James?
Somebody did, but just took it down.
Oh,
Oh, back up now. Hold on. Oh, where'd he go? Go ahead, Les.
Yes, Les Woods, longtime member of Company One.
My God, let's flip.
First of all, I want to commend the commission and the chief officers and particularly Chief Traumer. There's been a noticeable increase in communication to both the retired members such as myself as well as current members, and it is sincerely appreciated. And I want you to know it does make a difference. So thank you to all of you. Second point is, as you're buying more equipment, who would be my key contact? I represent Piedmont Fire Equipment, and we do a real good job about skinning the price down for our brothers and sister firefighters. And I'd love to be able to bid on some of your equipment needs. Who would be my primary contact in the department?
That would be Chief LaPierre, Les.
Okay, I'll contact Chief LaPierre. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Stay safe.
You too.
Thanks, Les.
Thanks, Les. Good to hear from you, Les.
yeah.
I was there the last 3 days. Didn't even run a call.
It was a nice day today. We got up to almost 50.
That's because I brought you that South Carolina weather.
Take it
Hey,
back with you.
unless I'm heading your way, so I'll wave by as I go by.
I'll stop in.
Heading that way now.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you, Les. Any other public participation?
Nobody else with a hand up at the moment.
Okay, we'll move right along to commissioners' remarks. You want to get us started, Bubba?
Sure. I think it was a great meeting tonight. We have a lot of work to do. We've had a lot of work to do lately, and it looks like it's going to continue. But I just want, in case somebody is listening to this, in no way and no means are we thinking of closing Station 4. I just want to make sure that's out there, that nobody thinks that there's any talk about closing Station 4, because that's a valuable asset. It's in a strategic place in our town, and hopefully as long as I'm commissioner, that house is going to stay there for the protection of our friends in the west end of town. So I just want to make sure that's out there. And thank you for everything that everybody does. And hopefully in the spring we can tackle a lot of these projects and bring them to fruition.
Thank you, Brian. Frank, have you got anything?
Other than the same sentiments as Brian in terms of company number 4, I gotta tell you, I was extremely pleased. I know that I happened to read in the meeting minutes and some of the notes. I was present at the first fire of the year on New Year's morning, and I was extremely impressed with how everyone worked together pretty much flawlessly to get the job done in a very rapid manner. And I was especially impressed with having the cadets doing the work that they did. And it just goes to show that we've got a great cadet program, and my hat's off to all of those officers who have taken it upon themselves to run the cadet program. And I'm hoping for some really, really great things this coming year with everything I'm hearing from Deputy Chief Stegmeyer. So I'm looking forward to the year 2022. And and making some great strides with this department. And Chief Traumer, thank you very much for everything that you do. You guys just, cease to amaze me on a daily basis.
I appreciate it.
Okay, I'll agree with both the other commissioners. We do have a fantastic department. I think that the chief evaluations really gave us some insight to all the work that the chief's command staff do. You guys are doing a great job. Tommy with the grants, Jack with the equipment, just everybody, even, and Chief, I heard Bob Regina may be out for a little while. You know how he's doing?
He's doing well. I talked to him this afternoon. He's okay.
Okay, good. I'll miss him when he's not here. He does so much. But I appreciate everything everybody does. I think that we're moving in the right direction and that we're improving every day, and that's the main point. So thank you all. Anybody else have anything else to add?
Ken, one more thing from me. Is DJ on? He's not on?
Yeah, I'm here.
You are, DJ. I had the pleasure of spending some time this afternoon going through your monthly reports. And you guys have just done an incredibly outstanding job. And I know that you're trying to play catch up, and it appears that you're well on your way. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
DJ, I want to echo that. We don't want to leave you out. You're an important part of this process. Prevention is the most, it's where we start. So that's very good. Thank you. And I hope all your staff is doing well and getting ahead.
Yep, thank you.
Anything else from anybody?
Oh, thank you, everybody.
If not, I'll call this meeting adjourned at 8:21. Thank you all.
I make a motion.
I second.
Okay. We're adjourned.
Stay
Thank
safe,
you, guys.
everybody.
Thank you all.
Be safe. Thanks.
All right, good night.